everybody, it's your favorite floating head, Tim. I'm here to give you a bit of a rundown on the new SeekBeak features and how you can kind of get started right away. Instead of doing like a feature this, video that, feature this, video that, I'm gonna just create a couple of very simple projects, and I'm gonna try and touch on a lot of different areas because the UI is probably going to change before the actual end result gets out. So I'm going to go over some things just to kind of show you how everything works. I'm going to go pretty quick because this is not an in-depth tutorial, but I'm going to try and hit as many things as I can to show you what's new and how you can use this new system. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a group. So the navigation on the left here, same as the previous version as far as clicking the plus button to create new things. So I'll create a new group. I'm going to call this demo group. Demo group. Let's do. I'm not going to add in a description. External scripts is still the same. We don't need any of that right now. So I'll click the save button here. And now we are in our demo group, as you can see here in the snaps tab. Okay. So if we go back here, we can change the details, or we can view our snaps and or our maps. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to upload a 3D model. So this of course is a brand new feature, but the upload process and editing and stuff is very similar to the 360s. So notice I'm ducking out of the way here because my camera is in the where that button was. I'm going to go and I'm going to click 3D scene, and I'm going to go drag this 3D scene out of my drive here. Okay, so I've dropped it in here, and it is a scan of a hospital room that I got off Sketchfab, the Charlie University Hospital Operating Room, it's called. So what I can do here is I can create my thumbnail. So, you know, this is a pretty good view here. I'll rename this hospital room. You can see I've done this before. There we go. And I'll hit go. And so that's going to upload it to the SeekBeak servers. It's also going to perform some geometry optimization as well as texture optimization, trying to shrink it down while maintaining as good a quality as you can get, so it still, you know, shows up at 60 frames a second on everyone's device, or at least decent devices. All right, so it's finished loading. Let's click it, and we'll go right into the 3D editor. We get a message here saying there's no starting camera waypoint found. Okay, so this is a good lead in into the next steps as to what you should do when you first upload a 3D model. There's hopefully going to be some sort of checklist or something to make this a little bit more user-friendly as we get closer to release. But for now, first thing you want to do is check the scale of your model, first of all. So if you have set it up properly in your 3D modeling tool, or whoever created it has set it up so that one world unit in bashing my mic. So that one world unit equals 1 meter, you're good to go. That's usually how things are calibrated. So let's check that. We're going to go into edit mode, and the model is simply a snap object. So up here in the snap objects area, we can say, okay, here's our hospital room. You can see it's a type 3D model. Let's edit it. So now this is the bounds as defined by the 3D modeling program, this outline here. And then you can see how that corresponds with the actual size of the model. So let's first of all figure out how big things are. So I believe doorways are usually 1.8 meters high or something like that. So let's figure out if our scale's right first of all. So right now it's just at 1:1 because that's the default. So if we'll click our measuring tool here, we'll measure this door. So I'll start at the top. Oh, look at that, 1.8. So, I mean, that's pretty close to what I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to assume, yes, this model is scaled properly. So I can just click here and cancel that because we don't need to save it. So I don't even need to save that. I'll just get out of there. Model's correct scale. Great. Second part is that notification that we got, set up a waypoint, because right now there's no starting camera position. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new waypoint, and then we're going to set that waypoint as our starting position. So using my keyboard and mouse here, all the key commands are listed under this menu here when you're editing. I'm in edit mode, so I get to be able to move around however I want. And what else I'm going to do is turn on this, the camera target helper. So this little guy shows what you're orbiting around. And so you can see here, as I move the camera, I'm orbiting around that. If I move with my keys, it maintains a constant distance between my orbit point. Right, so now I'm orbiting around here, and now I'm orbiting around here. Okay, you can also move the orbit point manually. So for example, if I wanted to orbit around this trash can for my waypoint, I'm going to open up waypoints. I'm going to create a new waypoint with the plus button, and I'm going to name this starting position. Now, it updates in real time with my camera position as well as my target point if I move them at any time. And what you can also do is you can also center on the model just by doing this and then clicking on the model you want, and now I'm in the exact center of it. Or you can pick a target point on the model. So if I just pick the top of this, I don't know, space garbage can, now we're rotating around that, we're orbiting around that. So for our start position, let's say we want to have it just kind of like we just come in through the door here. And I'm going to want to probably set my orbit. Does this feel kind of natural? Yeah, that's good. Because now we're not going outside of the walls, and we're orbiting around what appears to be the middle of the screen here. However, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bump this up a bit so it feels more like we're at a person's height, maybe even a little higher. Okay, so now we're orbiting. That's maybe too high. Maybe that's like more like me. I'm the tall Dutch guy. So let's orbit around here. Okay, controls I'm going to leave the same. The speeds are fine. Camera limits. Let's do some limiting, shall we? So first off, we don't want people to probably go all the way up there or through the floor. So let's limit our pitch first of all. So we can go like this, and we're going to go to maximum probably about here. And then minimum will go about here. Okay, so from 61 to 112 degrees. And now for the yaw. Do we really care? Not really, because they can go around this whole thing. What we want to limit though is the distance, and the distance is the distance from us to this marker here, right? So we don't want them to go out here. So we want to define this. This is probably as far out as we want to go. Okay, so we'll now set the target distance and start watching. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of go closer to it, and we can probably just go all the way there. And then we're at about 2.5 meters away, and then 0.25 meters to the target. So now, if I save this and save that, and I click on this, we are now in the starting position waypoint. Okay, so we are limited by the bounds. I can't go up or down any more than this. And if I zoom in and out, that's as far out as I can zoom, which means that I never see the outside of the walls, no matter how crazy things get. And now I can go here, set as start waypoint. Yes. And if we go and preview, right, we start there. We get to kind of zoom in around, and that's it. We've set up our starting view waypoint as well as added some limitations to the camera. So let's add a hotspot now. Let's, I'm going to hide this camera target helper. There we go. And I'm in edit mode. There we go, edit mode. So I can just move around the keyboard, and I'm going to target on this thing right here. And I'm going to go add a 3D model hotspot, and I'll just go boing and put it right there. And you'll see that it has attached to this part of the model and keeps the same direction as the face as well. If I put it on the floor, it would be poking straight up, and if I put it on the ceiling, of course, it's pointing straight down. So these follow the plane of the mesh that you attached it to. And so what we're going to do is we could add an icon. You can also upload your own icons, and they will appear as square images. If you use PNGs, you can have transparency, which adds some really cool effects as well. But for now, we'll just use the built-in icon ones. And I'll use these this light bulb here because we're gonna probably learn something about whatever this machine is. And so let's and we'll just do a rich text one for now. The rich text editor is the same as the original SeekBeak for the most part. And if people want to learn about the, I don't know, the Kidneytron 5000, this is where they're going to do it. So we can make it bold and increase the size. And we'll make it red so they know that we mean business. Okay, and I'm also going to name this the Kidneytron. Now, you may be wondering why I'm doing this, because in the reporting, when we pull a report later and we want to see how many people clicked on the Kidneytron to learn about it, we can see that in the reporting. It does not show the name in here. Now, what do we want to change? Appearance is new, so what we can do is always in front. If I toggle that on and off, you'll notice it makes no difference currently. However, if I go like this, you can see that this behaves as it should in normal 3D space, where it is occluded by the 3D model, where applicable. However, if you turn that off, it doesn't go behind anything ever, okay? So that is depending on how you want to do things. This is much more realistic, of course. The other one gives you much more visibility. Marker line is simply, well, the marker line. You can turn it on and off. You can change the color. You can change the distance of the hotspot as well. So right now we are 0.1 meters away. Of course, you can make that as long as you'd like or as short as you'd like. And we're using pixels for the size. So if you pay attention to this as I zoom out, you'll notice that if I keep zooming out, this is still 40 pixels, okay? Regardless of our zoom settings or anything like that, it will always stay at 40 pixels. Again, totally up to you how you want to work it. If you want it to scale, that's great. Now it's 40 meters. We'll shrink that down a bit. There we go. So now we're a bit more reasonable. And as we zoom out, of course, it scales with the model as it would normally in 3D land. So I'm gonna keep it at this smaller one here, just because. We also have the ability to change the anchor point or the center point of it dynamically. So by default, it's in the middle like this. If you have, a sign, you could have it hanging from it, or something sitting on top of a line, or however you want to work it. Just know that you can adjust the center point. You can choose a new position for the hotspot as well. So if this isn't where you wanted to stick it, and we can put it right there as well, or anywhere else you'd like. You can have it popping out of this dial, for example. But for now, we'll just leave it back on the screen. And as far as colors and options, those are the same as the original version of SeekBeak. Actions, we can do some new actions here, but we're not going to do that yet, because what I want to happen is if I click save like this, and now I click on that, great, we're learning all about the Kidneytron. But what if we're over here, and we kind of click this thing, it pops up. What I want us to kind of zoom over here so we can get a closer look of it. Okay, and so how you do that is, again, with a waypoint. So we'll make a new waypoint here. We'll call this the Kidneytron. I apologize to any actual medical professionals. The Kidneytron. And we'll probably just position it right about there. Controls, again, we'll leave it the same. Limits, we're going to be more strict with limits here. So the yaw, I only want to go, let's say, from about here. So I'll set yaw, yes, from there to there. All right, so, okay, that's as far around as I can look now. But pitch, again, I want to limit the pitch to something else. So we'll say that's probably good, and that's probably maybe done. Okay, and target distance. I want. What do I want? Where's my camera target helper? Let's see where we're rotating around. Okay, so it is pretty close to being right on the machine, so we can just move that a little bit in there. Okay, so that's perfect. So what we want is not a whole lot of zooming. Maybe there to there. Lock them in pretty solid. Done. Done. So now if I go to the Kidneytron and make that active, this is all we get to see. Okay. So now what I can do is I can close this down, and I'm going to turn off my camera target helper. And boom. And what I'll do is I'll go edit the hotspot, and I can either click on the hotspot, or I could click the edit button in that panel that was just open. Actions, I'm going to add a new action, and I am going to add a go to waypoint action. All right, so on click of this hotspot, I want to go to the Kidneytron waypoint, and we'll make it take half a second to get there. So you get a little nice animation from wherever you are to this new waypoint. So I'll click save there. And so now when we click the hotspot, we're going to open up the rich text editor, but we're also going to fire this action. So let's go over here, go out of edit mode. And I'll just for the heck of it, go way over here, click that, boom. Okay, so now I click on that, and then I can click on the Kidneytron and look all around it. Pretend you didn't see that spin thing that just happened because, yeah, there we go, because that's been a thorn in my side. It is getting fixed though, but that is how you can toggle waypoints with hotspot clicks as well. Okay, so that's probably a good time to call it for this one. I'm going to do another demo shortly, which will also bring in some overlays as well as transitions between 360s and models and this and that. But in this one, we learned about scaling models properly, adding hotspots to them, creating waypoints, navigating to those waypoints. So there was a lot of stuff covered here. Anyways, hope you enjoyed it and can't wait to see what you make.